Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, thank you, Light Matrix, for giving me this opportunity to moderate this session. Uh, I'll just open the session by saying, welcome to our session on our future-ready commute fleets, safer, learner, and smarter. Nowadays commute fleets are the backbone of India's working economy, but rising safety expectations, tighter margins, sustainability pressures, and rapid technologies are fundamentally reshaping how fleets are operating right now. Over the next 45 minutes to 50 minutes, we'll be exploring 5 key themes which we feel are very important to discuss and engage our discussion. That will revolve around how a future-ready fleet is defined in India right now. How do we operate with balancing safety, cost, and scale? How can technology and data improve reliability and efficiency? What operational shifts matter the most? And what will be the ultimate differentiator in the leaders which are going to lead the future space of transport? I encourage the audience also to participate effectively along with the panelists. With this, I will start the session, and I will like to have the views of Mr. Rajiv on future-ready fleet in India.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me for this very interesting session. And thank you, Mohit, for asking me this important question, because I think this impacts how we look at the fleet industry and where this industry is going to go. My feel is that, and this is the feeling that is there across the company that I lead, and I've been leading that company now for 25 years, Cars on Rent, which we set up back in 2000. As we look at this industry today, our belief is that the future of fleet is not the fuel that you use in the vehicles. It's also not the size of the vehicles. It definitely is not who owns these vehicles. It is actually it's actually about the trust. It's actually about the intelligence and the efficiencies that work at scale. And I think that is what this industry is. And therefore, as Cars on Rent, what we have done in the last few years, we used to be a company, and I started in this industry long time back. When we started, there was nothing like technology in this industry. And I remember that when the reservations used to come, we had our people sitting at the counters who would take those reservations in long registers, note down every requirement that the customer has, and then try and track that requirement so that they can dispatch the vehicles at the right time. But over the years, and we also at one point of time used to own about 8,000 cars, but we have transitioned. And we have transitioned from an asset-heavy business model to a zero-asset ownership model. We have transitioned from a decentralized operation, which is what everybody does, to a completely centralized operation. We believe that that is what is critical, and this setup which we have centrally, just to share with you, this now has technology, this has a set of people, and the entire technology has been built in-house by us. So this set of people are trained, there are processes that they follow, and they manage the operations in about 100 cities nationally from a single location. But they are able to track and monitor every vehicle that is on road, because there are other things which are very, very critical in this industry. Uh, as fleet industry, and I think for this audience which is very, very knowledgeable, I think it's important for us to remember that there are challenges in this industry, and we must all uh, understand those challenges. We must acknowledge those challenges, and we must start preparing to address those challenges, because if we don't, then the future will probably not see some of us, and I think that's not the future that any one of us is looking for. Uh, we are a very large country, huge population, very different kind of scale that is there. Also, massive number of variables that are there, and therefore, that itself is a huge challenge. If we try and look at this challenge, then we will start working on how to address this challenge. The second thing I think that also is important is that the fleets are changing. The energy which earlier was to be taken through fuel stations across, now EVs have come in, but EVs have their own challenges. The charging infrastructure, the maintenance of batteries, the end of the term usage of those batteries. All of those are also challenges that we need to take care of. Additionally, I think the one big challenge, and I'm sure all of you will agree with me, that is there and is becoming bigger and bigger, is the availability of professional trained drivers to drive these vehicles. And while the world can keep talking about autonomous vehicles, but the fact is that in India, we don't see autonomous vehicles replacing a driver for a long time. And a related challenge, and that is also something which as an industry we need to find answers to, is that this industry is still investing very low on technology. Technology has not been seen as a key component in this industry for too long. Technology has started, but most players even now are not allocating the right amount of funds to gain an additional advantage in the market, to be able to bring in efficiencies. But that's an area that we also need to deal with. My belief, and coming to where the future fleets will be, is that the future fleets are not going to be defined, or the model in India that is not going to be defined necessarily as a model which has worked in some of the developed markets in the world. My understanding is that in India, the model that is likely to work will be more, if I may call it, a platformization kind of model. We'll probably leapfrog into that model, what will happen is that there would be integration in digital technologies. There would be data-driven business models that will run, and these will integrate two sides of the market: the supply side and the demand side. And I think that is what will happen. EV adoption, in my view, is something which will happen, but it will happen gradually. It's not something which is going to happen suddenly. I also foresee that instead of the fleet ownership, there would be subscription models that will become available, and those are the models that the industry will follow. As I mentioned a little while earlier, driver upskilling is something that for the entire industry, whether you own the vehicle or you don't own the vehicle, is going to become one of the key investment areas that the entire industry will do. And so that is something that will happen. And overall, if you see what I see in the future, and we all look at that, is that over a period of time, the players in this industry will evolve into, if I call it, mobility orchestrators. And then, this is like an orchestra. Everything should work in rhythm. The technology tools should work in rhythm. The fleet should operate accordingly. And perhaps as far as the artificial intelligence is concerned, it'll start operating as co-pilots, and it will replace the fleet managers that are currently there. I think that's the kind of future that I see, and that we at Cars on Rent see. Because my belief is that that players who will win this will not necessarily be owners of vehicles. They will probably run it like the airlines. They will work on yield management instead of working on fleet management. And I think that's hopefully the future that I see, because this industry is going to be defined by trust from passengers, intelligence from technology, and collaboration, because it will have to be an ecosystem kind of approach that will work. So that's my understanding of this, but happy to share with you, and later when we have question answer session, I'll be happy to also answer any questions that anybody can have. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajiv, for summing this up. I have a follow-on, and in fact, if any panelist would like to add something, I just want to understand 2-3 things, which clearly defines a future-ready commute fleet in India. Panelists.
So, hi, I'm Chirag and I'm from Surface Logistics. So, we own trucks and I'm representing the trucking industry. And what we see as a future-ready fleet is fleet which has less dependency of a human. Definitely, there will be drivers who will be driving trucks. But as we see the number of accidents, every year there are 1.5 lakh accidents and there are 54,000 fatalities. So somewhere which can be controlled with the use of technology, where we save lot of human life and where we can also implement a lot of technology. We all are talking about AI and lot of technology initiatives, but are those really helping us in our industry? We hardly see. See, there are very good softwares to run the show, to manage the show, but what about the fleets? Where it's coming to the OEMs, India is struggling so much. The last year we got AC cabins where the world had it 20 years ago. So somewhere I see that in compliance, India is still long behind, and somewhere those compliance really need a big change. And as we said, that AI is everywhere. So we need AI in our trucks. No doubt there are a lot of companies, but again, so we have to outsource the technology. And when it's outsourced, somewhere we also are bargaining with our warranties. Not all OEMs are ready to give us the warranty with the auto fittings. So definitely India is lacking with the technology, with the safety, and I'm sure we all are having a passenger car, and a lot of cars do have ADAS. ADAS 2 has come, but still our trucks don't even have the basic ones. And again, road is not that fit, so we need a good infra, a good technology where we can save more and more lives. Because our industry is seeing a very big challenge. On every 1,000 trucks, we are hardly having 600 drivers. So future-ready fleet would be which saves life, which also give us a better turnaround time, and we also need a good infra for that trucks.
Good afternoon, everybody. I think I'm clear, loud and clear. First, you had a wonderful lunch, so please don't have a quick nap and listen to us what we are speaking. Now, as my colleague said just now, the most important thing in this discussion, I would like to tell you that you have to educate a driver first. Once you educate a driver, there is nothing which can compare to that. Whether it's an AI, whether it's anything, whatever you bring, whatever technology you bring into India, you have to educate a driver. Take care of a driver, he will take care of you. That is the policy. But in India, it is not that. We are a very disorganized organization, a company, a disorganized organization. It is not a factory-like thing. We are very disorganized until unless we all come together and look after the driver segment. They are the backbone. Once they are taken care, everything will fall into place. Now, I am running a company from past 35 years. I started as a tourist transport operator. I am not a fleet owner. I'm a fleet owner, but not as what cars owners having 8,000, 5,000 fleet of cars. I have a few wonderful, excellent Cristas and the latest one, the Urbanian, which has come up. But these drivers who are driving for me is there with me from past 25 to 30 years. I have paid them my pension. Even after they retired, a few of them are retired, and I give them pension. That is what you must look into. Their family must be taken care. Their medicals has to be taken care. Their everything, whatever they require. Now, for example, our colleague, Fresh Bus was telling, the most important thing is the bus operators, the lorry operators, they look at money. They look for money. What? The driver drives for 8 hours, 10 hours. Again, you give them another duty immediately. The driver is not a problem. Driver, for him, the allowance is important. It is not the life of the 45 people who's there. For him, he's getting that allowance, that bata, what he gets is important. So they're not looking at that. They're looking at, see that the driver is not given rest. Now, I think the Indigo, you know what the problem Indigo had? The rule, DGCA had brought a rule that they had, the pilots has to be given rest. They didn't do that. There was a strike on that. The same thing with our transport has to be taken care until and unless we take care of them, give them proper rest, give them all the facilities. For example, what he said, the infrastructure, the toilet facilities, the overnight sleeping facilities, these are all, there are a lot of things where India, we must take care. Point number 3, what I'm going to bring is, they bring a lot of rules and regulations. For example, the governor, the speed governor was there. Tell me how many of you, put your hands up and tell me how many of you in their buses have speed governors and got it removed. We pay 15,000, 20,000 for speed governors. They get it removed. For what reason? The speed. And once the speed, if the infrastructure is good, the speed is there. But there is a rule where governors has to be put. Then they brought a rule that panic button has to be done. We put panic buttons, but is it working? It's not working. So these are the rules which we bring, but we're not accepting it and telling that yes, this panic button is required. This speed governor is required. So when this all comes together, I am sure we'll really do well in our transport department. Thank you.
Thank you everybody for this opportunity to speak on this occasion about future ready fleets. So we are Newton Auto, an electric bus OEM, and we believe that we are here to give a solution for the fast urbanization that we are experiencing. So that would be one part of it, which when we are commuting from one place to the other, we are not talking in kilometers, we're talking about how much time it would take to reach a place. And we are experiencing it in this dense nation, in metro cities. But this impact is like a ripple effect. It is going on into our tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and wherein there is mobility, which is a challenge today. And this mobility as a challenge comes in from people moving to either provide for care to their families or to head to work. And in all of this, we see that there is a strong case of pollution. So there's a dense nation that's growing at a great speed, and there is also an issue of pollution. So we believe that the future fleets should be clean, should be connected. Like, I think most of us in India, we were very fast to get onto the digital track. So even in the remotest of places, you hand a digital, any kind of apparatus, and you see that as Indians, we're able to catch on, latch on to that connectivity. And I believe that the future fleets are here to solve for this particular unique position we find ourselves as a fast-growing nation and a dense nation.
Please go on if you want me to add something.
So firstly, I think I would want to flip that question and the topic in a little, if I may, right? I think the future of India rests with the future of mobility, right? Because any nation historically who has developed only developed because of the connectivity that they had, right? I think future-ready fleet means future-ready India, right? And I think this is a big thing for all of us. I think at least for a moment to take pride that we are leading the growth of a very important sector, right? I think the kind of investments I've been seeing in the last 10 plus years, it's not something that started today, right? Nothing happens in a day again. So I think a lot of effort is going on, and over a period, right? I think technology, as rightly pointed out, and the kind of leaders, I think we need more people to come in, more brains to come in and solve. I know a lot of people, I mean, I'm a technologist, but I want more people to kind of go on the road, understand the problems, right? Solve, like more startups are needed, more integrations are needed. We need a connected India and a connected mobility is what I believe. That's where the future lies. Because if I want to send something from A to B, right, whatever it is, it should be seamless. Like, I hope there will be something like a UPI at some point which will make it possible. And I think again, sustainable, I would echo with the fact of sustainability, because India is uniquely placed again to leapfrog about what we have learned our lessons from the West. They cut down forests and did this, so we don't need to do that again. Leapfrog, use sustainable methods, a lot of greenfield projects. I was having a conversation. We can now choose to start with an EV fleet where it was not possible in the past. Yeah, so I'll just end on that note, and I'll continue the conversation later.
So again, as we all have seen, that in China, lot of cargo movement has been done without driver. Driverless trucks are already mobilizing in China. Inside the cargos, they are moving the shipments. So as our industry is seeing a big drop in drivers, and we have only 600 drivers for every 1,000 truck. So future-ready fleet, what I see, that somewhere where there are trucks or the cars are driving without driver, lot of technology is playing a role. And as ma'am talk about the pollution, where pollution can be taken care of. So we see zero fatalities, pollution is taken care of. And again, the turnaround time. As sir spoke, Ravi sir spoke that, 8 घंटे 10 घंटे के ऊपर drive नहीं करना चाहिए. So when there are robots or machine driving the trucks, it doesn't matter 24 hours, still the turnaround time would be great, and we will see that operation cost automatically will go down because turnaround time is increased. That is where the profitability is hidden. So future ready trucks, I think more of a robotics or driverless trucks. So we won't have a challenge to control the people or have anything. And as sir rightly said, it will be like a UPI. So just subscribe and give an order to the system, and the truck is already driving inside, outside and everywhere. And cargoes are delivered without getting delayed, zero fatality. So that is the future ready truck. So I think OEM should start working on this instead of we planning to take care of the people. Instead, we should invest more in technology and go towards the growing India.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just add one point. I really echo with you on that, because the only way we can leapfrog is to be bold and challenge the assumptions, right? I mean, we should not be going with the fact that, okay, it might not be possible in India. We should ask the question, why not? And, try and solve it.
I'll interrupt now. First, there were telephones. We used to call on telephones. Then the mobile pages came. Then we all thought business will go, the pages have come, we'll lose our business. Then from that, mobiles came. We thought, okay, fine, mobiles come, we'll lose business. It'll take a long time. Like what he said, there'll be driverless lorries. I'm a tour operator, I'm a tourist operator. We need drivers. We are inbound tour operators and we are domestic tour operators. So we take care of them. They trust on us. I'm 100% sure it'll take more than ages, more than years to come into what technology, future technology is going to take place. And then India has got how many crores? How many? 130 crores of people, population. Where will we all go? It'll be difficult. For example, what Madam told, yes. One minute. What Madam told, yes, I agree to it. EVs required. 100% EVs required. For a tour operator, an EV is required because the distance what an EV gives is hardly 300 kilometers. Whereas we pick a client from Goa, from Trivandrum, from North India, from wherever it is, and bring them down south. And there are no charging stations. See, these are things which is coming up now. So it will take a long time. So future has to be, I'm not saying no, but it will take a long time. Thank you.
I think, like, the topic is such, whole day will pass, you won't be in a position to finish it off. And in fact, a lot of views coming in related to safety, efficiency, technology, OPEX, how the future ready will be important and all of it, and Deepali already missed the lunch and she is very silent. So I'll just ask one thing from her, like, how do you think, operators balance safety, cost and scale?
All right, Namaskar everyone. My name is Deepali and I'm the CEO of Eco Mobility. This is an organization which has been into the picture for almost 52 years. We are the first limited organization listed on NSE and BSE main exchanges. It's a privilege to be here, but a wonderful audience. The beautiful girls at the center table are clicking amazing selfies and a lot of, yeah. I think the photographers really need to spotlight on them and click few of them as well. We also have a lot of audience here with corporates' eyes wide open so that we see they are watching us. However, what they're doing is something different. Thank you everybody for being here. Yes, I missed the lunch, but that's absolutely all right. I think my daughters fed me very well today. Coming to the topic that has been discussed here about future fleet readiness, I think before talking about the cost, quality, scale or margin, I would just say one sentence, that life is precious. And when we say that, I mean it from the bottom of my heart, irrespective of whatever we are driving or whichever way we are commuting. Mobility is carrying people. And when we change our thought process from being a mobility service provider to being a service provider, first of all, into a people business, the game changes. We cannot have really a cookie cutter approach wherein we say that it can be the flying taxis, or it can be the trucks without drivers, or yes, for somebody going from Goa to Trivandrum and to Delhi, you will need human element as well. So really we can't predict and define that this is how it should look, but definitely one thing is for sure, that safety should not be compromised. And this all comes not from the fleet. It actually comes with a combination of fleet and the chauffeur. If you notice, I have used the word chauffeur. Imagine a car which is standing and a gentleman gets or a gentle lady gets down and opens the door for you, makes you feel comfortable or makes your mother feel comfortable and makes them sit. There we strike the bell and there is the difference. So a combination of car and a chauffeur. India has to really transition the drivers into chauffeurs. So the day that transition starts happening, the fathers and the mothers will not be troubled to send their daughters for a Valentine late night pickup on their own. Things will start changing because ultimately in the mobility space that I lead, I think it's the fathers and the mothers who the corporates where either they are returning from home or ladies who are traveling late night or the CXOs who are coming from other nations and trying to find their ways in India. It's very important that the combination, both the things need to work hand in hand. And for that, very esteemed panel and much more experienced than me, of course, what I have understood that we do understand that there's a need of transitioning the drivers to chauffeur, but more importantly, it's a cultural requirement. Drivers who are driving or chauffeurs who are, driving our cars, we put our lives in their hands while we'll chill at the phone or text or laptop. But what do we give them in return? Is it just that trip fee that we give? Or do we really raise a hand and say, all right, bhaiya, hum ruke hain, aap bhi kha lijiye. What I'm trying to say is it's a cultural, notional change which needs to come from everybody who travels in the car by treating them really above than the human beings or at least like the human being. So it's a rational and emotional, both cultural lever which needs to be pulled on. The way multinational organizations, GCCs, IT firms, all they do for their employees, paying on time, making sure they are well taken care, paying fair. Everybody in this room wants paid on time, paid fairly and appraisals. Yes? Smiles on everybody's face on the name of appraisals. Similarly, that respect quotient, that engagement quotient which we do with our employees, same needs to happen with these chauffeurs, along with absolute Harvard level of courses for them, which should be designed for them, that how to actually operate and navigate into an industry which is totally people-driven. People sit in the car, people drive the car. So automatically it's a people industry. The way Starbucks made a game changer vision statement once upon a time that we are not in coffee business, we are in people business. I think this industry is also in people business, irrespective of what AI we talk.
So what do you think in the future? Will safety become a margin enabler rather than a compliance cost?
Sorry, safety?
Safety will become a margin enabler in the future or will it remain a compliance cost only?
So safety actually became the new luxury after COVID, by the way. At that time, the only struggle which all of us did overnight change was safety. So safety is no more a compliance check. Margins is just an outcome of safety. Cutting cost on safety will not lead to margins. It will inflate all the cost, be it the cost of accidents, be it the cost of insurance, be it the cost of, fleet management, be it the cost of life. Nothing more than that. So safety is definitely a very long-term margin enabler.
I'd like to add to this. So, sorry, but I don't agree that safety is a new luxury because in our industry, we own trucks. So our company, we own 350 own trucks and 150 attached with us. But because of the compliance, we are not able to do anything, as ma'am would agree to me, as she said to EV trucks. So recently, government passed a law to have AC cabins, where world had 20 years ago. And we still don't have airbags in our truck, we don't have ADAS, we don't have any technology. GPS became mandatory 2 years ago. So where is the safety? We are just talking. Are we really having it? So I think a lot of people over here, it's all about the talks, but what is happening on the road is very different. As we said that, we should take care of our drivers, but do we have drivers in India? 20 years ago, there were 1,500 drivers for every 1,000 trucks. And now what we have? 600. Who is not taking? We all are taking care of it. But what we are seeing that, that there is no dignity to this profession. That is the main thing. We are here, how much of a luxury or safety you provide if you don't dignify this job, if you don't care for the people, if the respect is not there, then definitely we'll have to go for driverless, because if drivers are not coming, today in India we have 1 crore trucks, okay, 1 crore trucks, and we are serving 130 crore population. If India wants to become a world largest economy, you need trucks, you need strong transportation. But what is government doing for it? Where are the complaints, where are the policies? As we said, we should take care of the drivers, we should provide them this, but do we have enough sleeping beds? 50% of the accidents are happening because of the fatigue. What is government doing to take care of that? That's what I'm saying. So here I think we need a strong compliance from the government side. No doubt here the visionaries are there, but we all should come together and think on the perspective where the Sarthis can be taken care of. As we all have heard about Mahabharata, I hope you all are aware of Mahabharata. Who was Lord Krishna? He was Sarthi. The Pandavas could only win the war of Mahabharata because of right Sarthi. So, but अगर जो हम हमारे सारथी को सारथी की तरह ट्रीट नहीं करेंगे, एंड अगर जो हम सरकार से कुछ लेंगे नहीं, बिकॉज सी एवरीवेयर योर कंपनी माई कंपनी वी कांट हैव अ स्लीपिंग pads everywhere. So we need something from the government side. Even if I want to put a ADAS in my truck, next away like RTO will reject my truck. I won't be able to get my truck on the roads. OEM is not going to accept with the warranties. So how can I apply the truck without this safety measures? When we are talking about the fatigue, do we have intelligent system in our truck where sleep detectors are there, or even for long haul, what all safety we have? We are talking about the AI, but it's not happening on the ground. So the real challenge is with the government, with the compliance, where we all have to come together and fight. And I think that is the right way. How much ever you take care of the driver, but when compliance is not supporting you, law is not supporting you, it will go higher, it will go waste.
Yeah, I think I'll probably add a few cents on it. Firstly, I would want to pat myself and my team on the back and acknowledge a few things. One is we are calling our drivers captains. We are putting them on our payroll. I think an entire session on it, so I will not bore the audience, probably explain you offline. And sir, we did not remove the 80 kilometer thing, sir. So we made sure that we are compliant. Yes, we got a hit from our sales team saying that you are not reaching in the time as compared to other operators. But we made sure that we kept that 80 speed limit. So I think change starts from home, and we have AC cabins for our captains to rest between trips, right? And well-maintained washrooms at the depots, right? And we also, wherever we stop in the midpoints, I know many people in this industry are habited to kickbacks, but we made sure that they're getting a good food there, right? So I think yes, relying on government to come up with policies is a thing, but I think we need to start solving problems, right? And yes, some of them might require investment. We'll burn our hands. We burnt our hands multiple times, right? But if we start doing things, right, so some things will work, some things will not, right? I think over a period of time, I mean, like, I feel good patting myself on the back here. So we all can pat ourselves on the back and say that we are there. Yeah.
I may just add 1 minute. I understand when you say that you need the government to do a lot of things, and in every sector, I think the government needs to do a lot of things. A lot of infrastructure has to happen. Everything has to happen. But I think as players in this industry, we have our own responsibility. And if we stop looking at regulation to deliver safety, that will be the first step. Because I think many of us, and I'm not saying everyone, but many of us do not do the basics. And pardon my saying this, But as a truck owner, and we all know that truck or even the bus, the body is built outside. When the body is built, did any time the government say that we cannot fit an air conditioner in the driver's cabin? Why you can't do it?
Because it's not the norm. So you have to follow for
No, I mean, I am not completely familiar with the norms for the trucks. But the air conditioning never used to come in the cars some time back. But people used to fit air conditioners. And when you fit an air conditioner, the driver also is more comfortable. And I think, we have to move from looking at safety as a regulatory issue to looking at safety as a risk issue. And if we start looking at the risk indicators and use that to define what all actions we need to do, we should at least do that. If there is some regulation which is not permitting us, great, yaar. I mean, what can you do? You are not going to be able to fight with the government. But whatever we can do, we should do. We can't maybe create the pods at every place, even in the cars. And I'll give you a very small example. Our drivers, who my colleague said chauffeurs, yes, our chauffeurs. Our chauffeurs are with a guest the entire day. He probably gets into the car when he lands in a city from the airport. And then till maybe 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, that driver is always there, that chauffeur is always there. But if you tell him that you cannot sit in the car, and you don't give him a stool or a foldable chair where he can sit, then what are you telling this guy? Are you expecting him to stand on the road for 10, 12 hours every day? That's not going to work. And then he will have fatigue, then he'll make mistakes, then there will be accidents and the safety will be finished.
So if I could just add a point. You mentioned in your opening remarks, you hinted at the platform, right? So I think what is very necessary today is to have a platform where we can all voice our concerns and then build an ecosystem around it. And each of us has our own pain points, and there are strong regulations that monitor buses, trucks, and especially we are seeing that in the EV buses that we are building. So you have type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4, Mufasil. Each one of them, even AC and SDX, these are all separate certifications that we need to get. In that, there are AIS codes, there are codes for the powertrain, there are codes for every bit of it, along with safety regulations. And yet, there are certain B2G requirements that we see. Like now, when you are traveling within a city, you need to cater for seniors as well as maybe people who need assistance. And in case of school kids, there would be another safety requirement. If it is a private bus operator might have his or her own concerns. So I think the important part is that we are having this conversation, which I think is very crucial at this time, as the industry is getting so dynamic.
A lot of views coming around safety. And Sai highlighted, I heard, he's relying heavily on the data, the tech part of it, which is giving him a lot of insights. So in continuation to it, I want to ask one thing. How can technology and data improve reliability and efficiency?
You have 2 mics.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think data, this is one problem I faced in the industry when I came into this industry, right? So the reliance on the data itself was very less, and data is highly fragmented, and you'd be lucky to get certain data yourself, right? And I hope, I don't know if there are problems still in that sense. So I think it's a problem that we need to combinedly solve. So we have worked with multiple, so I'll give you a simple example, right? So we have the AS140 device giving us the GPS, right? The coverage is 70%, right? And but my customers need 100% coverage, so I have to put another device. So people might think GPS is a solved problem. It is not, right? So I think a form like this, as ma'am rightly pointed out, helps, because we have to come together and understand what are those 1,000, 2,000 data points. We have to build a data dictionary of sorts, right? So that we could at least be in a position to cross-share, not the data, but the analytics on top of that data, like the metrics, the heuristics of that data, to be able to establish benchmarks, which I currently feel are highly lacking in this industry. So once we establish that benchmarks, so everybody can thrive to or strive to push them more further. But we need to get to that state where first we need to collaborate as a group. Especially first, I think even before that, we need to start investing heavily in technology, right? Build the right tools into the play, establish that 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever those parameters are, and then set those dictionaries. I know privacy is a great thing. Everybody wants their data with them, but especially from a safety standpoint and where industry stands today, it's important that we all collaborate and kind of pool the data together, because today the data that I have for 82 buses is hardly anything. But if I have the data probably from an OEM, I probably would have done a very better job, right? So I think that kind of
Sai,
collaboration.
I understand, a lot of points about tracking, data about physical fleets and all of it. But I think there is a serious concern which everybody faces on a day in, day out basis, which is regarding the chauffeur or a driver or somebody's behavior. A lot of people complain, especially the women around it. What do you think, how data will play an important role in tracking and actually getting it sorted from the results, what is being generated from those behaviors?
So I think, again, right, so the first thing is tracking, as you rightly pointed out, because right now, how many incidents are happening? Do we have a track across our fleets at least, right? What is it that we are willing to do? Right. So in our case, we put a separate customer care number for women passengers, especially to understand the percentage of queries that we get from women. Right. So I think systems like this will evolve and has to evolve, right, to be able to understand those niches. Because we need to smartly invest in pockets. Right? We cannot just go ahead and say that, okay, I'll put a technology budget of so X crores or like X $1 million and it will solve everything. Right? Because it comes with that experience, it comes with that amount of understanding and that amount of data. Right? So we need to work together and make it like first record. So we have a strong POSH committee internally, right? So we need to build those committees. We need to, kind of start reporting on it very seriously and across fleets, right? So we need to educate, because the training is something that is, again, as multiple people on the panel pointed out, missing, right? So how many captains got a POSH training? So it's important that they understand this and record them. Again, as one of the things, data, right? It's important for us to not just do things, also record them properly. And I think the likes of certain investors, right, helps here, because they have new compliances that are coming in, which is great learnings for me personally. And I think as an industry, if we could learn that and start publishing this, that let's just say Indian as a transport industry has gone from X to Y to Z. So we will have measurable outcomes.
Okay. I think Dipali has a view, if you can just.
Yeah, actually we are at a very sweet point now. Of course, what is not there, support from government, etc., we can always pinpoint. But what I think that is, we're at a very sweet point. At least we are evolving. Now at least we are coming together, looking at the data. human and consumer behavior will get generated over a period of time. You have also, kind of booted your chat GPTs over a period of last 3-4 months. Now chat GPT understands what kind of mindset you have. So acknowledging and being grateful, I think, personally speaking, I think it's a very beautiful spot we are at right now, where at least we have started doing it. We are not just sitting, chilling under the sun and saying that one day it will come. So the day is there in consolidation. It's a very fragmented industry. हर गली में taxi था ना. So obviously, coming from there and now building what we are building, I personally am very thankful. And to everybody out here, when you say that you have a GPS button, when you have a panic button, please always test it so that that behavior starts get generated. When somebody asks me, ma'am, I have a panic button in the car, I always say, working panic button na. Because that's how we need to make those small changes, because ultimately, safety hai to sab hai. So I just thought that I'll say this bit.
So, we are already at the top of the hour, but before we wrap it up, I have one last question for Aarti. Aarti, what do you think, what will ultimately differentiate the leaders in this space by 2030?
I think the strongest collaborators will lead this conversation. I think the way forward is not in silos, it's together, because we need goods to travel, we need people to travel more efficiently, faster, and especially it's India's era, as they say, and we are here. So those are my points.
Thanks, Aarti, for summing it up. Anything which the audience feels want to ask?
As Rajiv rightly said, thank you for this opportunity. I would like to first of all say we should actually appreciate the wonderful inputs which have come from each panel member, because each input will give you some learning. At least I am learning something from this. That is one part. Secondly, two more things I will say without taking so much of time. Almost every panelist mentioned about the drivers and their trainings. I think that is something which should translate into their actions, because they are the one who are actually representing each company, and they are the one who are going to get you appreciations. They are the one who are going to take care of your safety, your vehicle safety, and lower the accidents and everything. And third, not the least, last not the least, ma'am, Arathi, this is a request to you. I see a lot of requirements today in the EV section for a bigger vehicle, not buses, something which can ply within the NCR, maybe a 7 or a 8-seater. I think we are falling short of that. I represent a company called Giriraj Mobility, and we run about 3,600 plus vehicles across India. That's something which I would request you to, whoever is apart from you, whoever is there available in this, work on something which can bring in that kind of vehicle to ply more people. That's going to help cost. A lot of things will come with that. Thank you.
Yeah.
As we all are here and we have understood the crucial challenge that is of drivers. So I would request everyone, let's celebrate 17th September as a Chalak Divas, as a Driver's Day. Because in Maharashtra, we have started in a lot of parts of the country. We have already started. So everyone in the room and here on the dais, let's all come together and celebrate 17th September as a Chalak Divas to dignify this profession. Thank you.